Hello YouTubers. Okay, it was my birthday on Thursday and I had a really nice day. I had some really good presents as well, and one of those was the Sony Bloggie. Oh yes, I do like this camera. It does have a lot of pros about it and a few cons about it. The main reason why I wanted this camera was for digiscoping, and from what I've done so far it has done quite a good job. But it does have its issues. Now, over the last couple of days I've been doing a lot of test shots with it, and I've been comparing it to the Kodak PlaySport. What I decided I would do is sort of tell you guys of what my findings are so far. Now, before I get started, a suggestion for a media player is the divx media player. I'll put a link in the description box so that you guys can download it. It's divx Media Player Plus, I think it's called. I was having problems with the QuickTime player, and I thought that the quality of the video had gone down on both the cameras, but once I started using divx, which you can use both of these on it, it showed the quality of the video from both cameras a lot better, so that was a real bonus. My findings on the Sony Bloggie. The pluses: it's 5x optical zoom, a really good macro mode on it. The digital zoom boosts it up to 20 times, which is really cool, but you don't get the digital in the 1080p, but you do get the optical, which is really cool. The flip out thing, like I've said before, is a real bonus. Get more picture settings on this than you do on any of the other cameras that I've got. Also, I took some pictures in low light, and they came out a lot more brighter than the Kodak PlaySport, which I was a little bit impressed with. It does have quite a good mic on it, and it doesn't really matter where you point it. It still picks up your voice really well, even though it's only mono, which I was quite impressed with. 1080p is relatively good. I would say it is a little bit better than the Kodak cameras, but it doesn't have image stabilization. Not that that makes a real difference in the 1080p, but it does do quite good 1080p. The low light, when it does focus, is really good, and I found it to have a better quality low light than the Kodak PlaySport, which I was quite surprised at. The quality of the videos are quite good, but I did find it a little bit grainy in some situations. Now, I am still doing tests with both these cameras, and I'm yet to do a test as far as the image stabilization is concerned and comparing the two, so I'll let you guys know how that goes. So that's the bonuses about this. The negatives: the focusing in low light is a major problem. On my birthday I took this out and I did a lot of video with it, and the focusing was a problem in pretty much all the videos that I took. It seems to just want to focus on everything, and I tried turning the image stabilization on and off and the face detection on and off, and in certain situations it did seem to make things better, but the focusing, for me, it would be a major put off. I have talked to Sony about it, and they said that it's part of the camera, it's the way that the camera adjusts to the lighting situations and the focusing situations, and they said that there isn't really a firmware update that they can see would rectify or change this thing. What would have been nice is if they put a manual focus on it, or a button where you could turn the focus off, but obviously they didn't, so that is a bit of a bummer. Also, another issue that I have is the lead. Now, I've got a desktop which I do most of my editing with. If I didn't have my extension port on my desktop, this would be a complete and utter nightmare, because it means I would have to stick it round the back, and that is just not practical. Compared to the Kodak PlaySport, and actually the ZI-8 and the Lumix, which give you leads that are at least this long, you know, it is a bit of a disappointment. And considering that you pay more money for the Bloggie than you do for the PlaySport or even the ZI-8, you would sort of expect them to put a little bit longer lead in your accessories, so that was a little bit disappointing. Also, the fact that you don't have a power on button, which I had an issue with the other model that I had, because basically it got to a point where I couldn't even turn it on just by lifting that flap. They could have put a power on button there, which would have made a huge difference, because it would mean you wouldn't have to rely on this mechanism. So that was another little niggle. And lastly, no WVGA, like I've said previously. A lot of the videos that I do are in WVGA because it's easier to edit. It's nearly as good as HD, and the file sizes are smaller. This has VGA. Obviously, to put VGA onto YouTube, you either leave it and have two black lines down the side, or you stretch it out and or you're all distorted. So that was a little bit disappointing. So that's the pluses and minuses of the Sony bloggie. In comparison to the PlaySport, I would say that the PlaySport does a clearer picture than the bloggie, and I'm yet to find out about the image stabilisation side of things. If I had to choose between the two, I would probably still go with the Kodak PlaySport because, you know, I think it's more durable and the picture quality, like I said, in the 720p is better than the Sony bloggie. If they sorted out the focus on this, then I would say that it would be a close call between the two. But because of the focusing on this and the fact that it goes absolutely haywire, that is what makes the Kodak PlaySport a lot better. Now, I know what you guys are going to be saying to me, which one should I choose? So to finish off, this is how I would answer. You've got to look at what you are going to do with your camera. So you've got to decide, why am I buying this camera and what am I going to use it for? If you're an extreme sports nut and you need a camera that's a bit more durable, that's waterproof and is going to give you really good quality pictures, then I would say the Kodak PlaySport is the one for you. If you're somebody who's going to be doing tutorial videos, green screen videos and interview videos, then the Kodak ZI-8 is the one for you because of the macro and the external mic. If you're somebody who needs a slightly better macro, an optical zoom, and you're going to be doing a lot of vlogging type videos, then the Sony bloggie would be the one for you. If I was to choose a general overall camera that covers pretty much all of the bases and gives you a really good quality picture, then I would still go with the Kodak PlaySport. Okay, it doesn't have the macro and it doesn't have the external mic and it doesn't have the flip out, but to be honest with you, I would be quite happy with my Lumix TZ6 and the Kodak PlaySport because those two cameras would cover all the bases. So that's my little video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Obviously, if you've got any questions about any of the cameras, please ask away. Also, as far as other cameras are concerned, you can ask me questions and I will have a look and try and answer them as best I can. I will try and put some more videos up later on, but I've been having internet problems, so I haven't been able to do it. That's enough from me. I hope you're having a good weekend and I'll do some more later on. Okay then, bye bye.